and I recently changed that button so it works. So I'm happy. Okay, so
Great.
what we'll do is we'll continue with through button and buttonhole. I'll present to you, and then you present back to me. Okay.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to introduce at this point is what we call another technique, what we call CBI, which is correction by imitation, like this. CBI, correction by imitation.
Okay.
What that means is that from time to time, the students make mistakes. Well, quite often they make mistakes. That's the idea of the lessons. And the way that we correct them when they make a mistake like that is to try to correct them quickly without interrupting their flow. Okay, so we use this CBI, which is basically to repeat the thing that they made a mistake with and the correct way of pronouncing it. Okay, so for example, if they say, this is a bark, I say, not bark, book. So I repeat the thing that they got wrong, and then I give them the correct pronunciation. Not bark, book. And then they repeat book, and then we carry on. The idea is to give the correction quickly, so we don't stop the flow. We don't stop and say, oh, okay, this is the way that you pronounce. No, it's quick, and so that they get the correction in the act, in the moment, as they go along. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of that. So I might invent some mistakes for you. It doesn't mean that you made the mistake. I'm just pretending that you made that mistake so you can see the way that it works. Okay. If you want to have some fun, you can introduce some mistakes as well to see whether the teacher's paying attention. Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the word through, por, button, botón, buttonhole, hoja. What do you walk through when you go into a room? What do you walk through when you go into a room, Miriam? I walk through
a door when I go into a room.
How many buttons do you have on your best coat? How many buttons do you have on your best coat, Miriam? I have 17 buttons.
2 buttons on my best coat.
My best coat. Okay. Do you go through your dictation after each lesson? Do you go through your dictation after each lesson? Yes, I go through.
Yes, I go through my dictation after each lesson.
Not throw through. I go through.
I go through my dictation after each lesson.
How do you spell through? How do you spell through, Miriam?
How do you spell? Sorry, I was going to ask the question. Okay.
T-H-R-O-U-D-J. Not J, H. Very good. Okay. Which provinces must you go through when you go from Buenos Aires to Mendoza? Which provinces must you go through when you go from Buenos Aires to Mendoza? I must go through.
I must go through San Luis, Córdoba, and Santa Fe when I go from Buenos Aires to Mendoza.
Very good. Okay, career. So career, when we talk about a person's career, we generally mean all the work they have done. Generally, we don't mean what they studied at university. Would you prefer a career in the cinema or on television? Would you prefer a career in the cinema or on television, Miriam? I'd prefer a career.
I'd prefer a career in the cinema rather than on television.
Very good. Excellent answer. Okay, so the word cross, cruzar, crossroads, cruce, or test, probar. What shape am I making with my fingers? What shape am I making with my fingers? You're making
a cross with your fingers.
What shape do we often see in a church? What shape do we often see in a church? We often see
a cross in a church.
In a church. What do we call the place where 2 roads cross? What do we call the place where 2 roads cross? We call the place.
We call the place where 2 roads cross.
The place, not the place. Place. Repeat, please. Place. Where 2 roads cross. Where 2 roads cross, a crossroads. Excellent, very good. Okay, so we'll pass it back over to you. So I'll hit the ball back over the net to you. Okay, so back to the word through. Okay, so you're going very fast for me, Miriam. Yeah, you're doing very well. Okay.
To where is
from the word through?
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So what do you walk through when you go into a room? What do you walk through when you go into a room? I walk through, Stephen.
I walk through a door when I
go into a room. How many buttons do you have on your best coats? How many buttons do you have on your best coats? I have
3
buttons on
Three
my best coat.
boutons on my best coat.
Not buttons, buttons.
Buttons.
Buttons. I have buttons on my best coat.
2 buttons on my best coat.
Perfect. Do you go through your dictation after each lesson? Do you go through your dictation after each lesson? Yes, Stephen. I go through my dictation after each lesson.
Dictation after each lesson.
Good. How do you spell through? How do you spell through, Stephen?
Through.
Not J, H.
H.
Very good. Which provinces must you go through when you go from Buenos Aires to Mendoza? Which provinces must you go through when you go from Buenos Aires to Mendoza? I must go, Stephen.
I must go
through San Luis,
Córdoba,
Santa Fe,
Córdoba,
where I
and
go
Santa
from
Fe,
Buenos Aires to Mendoza.
When I go from Buenos Aires to Mendoza.
Good. Okay. Would you prefer a career in the cinema or on television? Would you prefer a career in the cinema or on television? Stephen, I'd prefer a career on television, rather than in the cinema. Good. Yes. What shape am I making with my fingers? What shape am I making with my fingers? I'm making a cross.
You are making
a cross with your fingers. What shape do we often see in a church? What shape do we often see in a church? We often see, Stephen, a cross in a church.
A cruise in a church.
Not cruise, cross. A cross in a church.
In a church.
Good. What do we call the place where 2 roads cross? What do we call the place where 2 roads cross? Stephen, we call the place where 2 roads cross.
We call the place where 2 roads cross, crossroads.
Not close, place.
Place.
The place.
Very good. Okay, so we'll continue and I'll present back to you from the word danger. Okay, danger. What's the greatest danger for people living next to a river? What's the greatest danger for people living next to a river, Miriam? The greatest danger?
The greatest danger for people living next to a river is a flood.
What do you think is the most dangerous sport? What do you think is the most dangerous sport? I think
the most dangerous sport is skiing.
Oh, okay, yeah. What would you do if you saw someone driving dangerously in your town? What would you do if you saw somebody driving dangerously in your town? If I saw somebody driving dangerously in my town, I would call the police. Alcohol. Okay, name me 3 kinds of alcohol, please. Name me 3 kinds of alcohol, please, Miriam. 3 kinds of alcohol.
3 kinds of alcohol are whiskey, wine, and beer.
What do we call a policeman who finds people that have committed crimes? What do we call a policeman who finds people that have committed crimes? We call a policeman.
We call a policeman who finds people that have committed crimes. A detective.
A detective, yes. Okay. Okay, so okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back and you present me from the word danger, and then we'll try a different book because this is very easy for you. You're doing very well. Okay, so from the word
danger. Yep. Yes. What's the greatest danger for people living next to a river? What's the greatest danger for people living next to a river? Stephen, the greatest danger for people living next to a river
is a flood.
Not flood, flood.
Flood. Flood.
Which do you think is the most dangerous sport? Which do you think is the most dangerous sport? I think, Stephen, the most dangerous sport is...
I think the most dangerous sport is...
Not must, most.
Most.
Good. Most. What would you do if you saw somebody driving dangerously in your town? What would you do if you saw somebody driving dangerously in your town? If I saw somebody driving dangerously, Stephen, in my town...
Well, that was a long prompt there. If I saw somebody driving dangerously...
Long.
It's okay, don't worry. You're doing very well. So, wow, I've got to remember all of that. So if I saw somebody driving dangerously in my town...
I would call the police.
I would call the police. Very good. Yep.
Good. Okay, name 3 kinds of alcohol. Name 3 kinds of alcohol. 3 kinds, Stephen.
3 kinds
of alcohol are whiskey,
of alcohol are whiskey,
wine, and beer.
wines, and beer.
Good. What do we call a policeman who finds people that have committed crimes? What do we call a policeman who finds people that have committed crimes? We call a policeman, Stephen.
We call a policeman
who finds people who have
who
committed
finds people
crimes.
who have committed crimes.
A detective.
A detective. Very good. Okay, so what we'll do just to vary things a little bit, okay, is we're going to change the book. Okay, so we're going to go to A21 stage 3. Okay, I can hear my voice coming back to me.
Oh.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so we're going to go to A210 lesson 1, starting with the word comparative. Find that.
Okay, is it in the same book?
It's further up the list. So we were looking at stage 5. Now we're going to look at stage 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
stage
so
3.
A210L01, lesson 1.
The one that starts with comparative and superlative.
That's right. Yes. Yeah,
oh,
no, that's
okay.
correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
But what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next lesson. So at the bottom of the page, there are arrows left and arrow right. So click on the arrow right to go to L02. And that should say a lot of at the top.
Yes. Perfect. Yep. I'm
okay.
there.
Okay, so instead of I've got many shirts, we generally say I've got a lot of shirts. Okay, so have you got many shirts? Have you got many shirts, Miriam? Yes, I've got.
Yes, I've got a lot of shirts.
Shirts. Are there few people in China? Are there few people in China, Miriam? No, there aren't.
No, there aren't few people
in China. There are.
There are a lot
of people in China.
In China.
Do the Argentinians drink a lot of tea? Do the Argentinians drink a lot of tea, Miriam? No, the Argentinians don't.
No, the Argentinians don't drink
a lot of tea. They drink a lot of. They drink a lot of
mate.
Mate, yes. What does Bill Gates have? What does Bill Gates have? Bill Gates has.
Bill Gates has a lot of money.
Money, yes. Okay, so both and. Ambas cosas. I drink both tea and coffee. I speak both English and Spanish. Do you use only a knife for eating, Miriam? Do you use only a knife for eating? No, I don't only use.
No, I don't only use a knife for eating.
I use both.
I use both a knife and fork
for eating.
For eating.
Can you speak both Russian and Spanish? Can you speak both Russian and Spanish? Please don't say yes. No, I can't speak.
No, I can't speak
both Russian and Spanish. I speak only?
I speak only Spanish.
Very good. Okay, so you present that back to me. Okay, from have you got many shirts?
Okay. Have you got many shirts? Have you got many shirts, Stephen? Yes.
Yes.
I've got a lot of shirts.
Got a lot
of shirts. Good. Are there a few people in China? Are there a few people in China? No, Stephen, no, there aren't few people in China.
There aren't few people.
In China, there are a lot of people.
There are a lot of people.
In China.
In China. I apologize, I'm being deliberately awkward at the moment. Okay.
Okay. Do the Argentinians drink much tea? Do the Argentinians drink much tea? No, Stephen. The Argentinians don't drink.
The Argentinians don't drink
much tea.
Much tea.
But they drink. A lot of mate.
A lot of mate.
What does Bill Gates have a lot of? What does Bill Gates have a lot of? Stephen, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Has a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Very good. Okay.
Do you use only a knife for eating? Do you use only a knife for eating? No, Stephen.
No.
I don't only use a knife for eating.
Use a knife for eating.
I use both a knife and fork for eating.
I use both a knife and fork
For eating.
for eating.
Can you speak both Russian and Spanish? Can you speak both Russian and Spanish? No, I can't,
No,
Stephen.
I can't
Speak both Russian and
speak
Spanish.
both Russian and Spanish.
I speak only Spanish.
I speak only Spanish. Excellent. Very good. Well, you've done really very, very well, Miriam. Most trainee teachers at this point are pulling their hair out because I'm giving them hard responses, but students are like that. They don't know English, so they make lots of mistakes. They don't remember everything, so it can be a little awkward at times. So part of the job is being able to manage those situations where things don't flow so smoothly. You kept your cool, which is excellent, even though I know you are nervous. You come across as very professional and in control of the situation, which is really, really very important for us. Okay. So as I say, the lessons are 50 minutes. So I try to be on time with those. So we've just got a couple of minutes left. And I wonder whether you can tell me back the idea of spoken English and the idea of the natural method, more or less. I don't expect you to have a photographic or perfect memory on that, but just an idea.
Okay, so the main idea is to focus on fluency rather than grammar and other aspects of traditional teaching. And the idea is to focus on repetition. So you give feedback constantly to the student, and also you give prompts. It's always a question. You repeat the questions twice, and then you give prompts that maybe there are in between 2 or 3 words to the student, so the student can answer. And the idea is for them to answer specifically what you have on the book. So you give them the idea. And the idea is also to have the students focus and alert. So you don't tell them who is going to answer until you give them the prompts.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing is the correction by imitation. So when you're correcting what the student has said, you repeat the thing they got wrong, because oftentimes they can't hear what they said wrong. They think it's correct. So you repeat what they said wrong, and then you give them the correction. Excellent.
Perfect. Yes. So it's not necessary to give long explanations when they make a mistake.
That's right. So as you can see, it's a very practical way of teaching, and we find that it works very, very well. Okay. So, well, thank you very much, Miriam. So
thank you. I'm really excited.
I'm excited as well.
It's a huge challenge. I love challenges, and this is great.
Yeah.
Really.
No, I'm very excited because it's good to work with somebody that picks it up so quickly. Yeah. So
thank you so much.
Sometimes there's a lot more effort on the trainer's side of things, and you've made it very easy for me today. So that's excellent. So hopefully tomorrow you'll remember everything and
yes,
it won't disappear.
I will.
And you'll be working with Laura tomorrow morning.
Laura.
Okay?
Yes.
So she'll give you more or less a repetition of what we said today, but she'll be focusing much more on practice of the exercise or practice of the questions and answers. Okay?
Okay. Perfect. Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
If you have a little bit of time afterwards, explore a little bit on the web page. If you want
I'm going to look at the videos. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
And if you have any questions, just pop me a WhatsApp. Not a problem. Okay.
Okay. Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Miriam. And I'll see you on Thursday.
Yes. See you on Thursday. Exactly.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.